tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your man, Gerald Graham. You know me as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well with everyone. Hope all is well. It is Monday. We are back on the ground. I think it's Monday. Should be Monday. Tell you, my days are running together lately, and it's just so hard to keep up with everything that's going on. But from my understanding, it's Monday, back on the grind after a weekend. Hope you had a great weekend. I think the weather was nice in this area all weekend. I was kind of out of this area, but I think the weather was nice. So I hope you got out and did something fun, responsible. You know, I keep preaching that word responsible. Do something responsible. Don't be stupid. But I want to thank you once again for joining me right here on WPMM Internet Radio. Well, I'm here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And I want to thank my listening audience. We've been at this over 3.5 years now. And we're still pressing on, still going strong. And I want to thank you for tuning in, listening to the show. This show is for you, about you, and of you. And without you, I would not be here. So I thank you so very much for your support and supporting the show. And I look for your continued support. You know, I want to do some bigger, better things, but, you know, bigger and better things require a certain amount of monetary leverage. So, you know, I have to take it slow. Until I can get some big time sponsors going on. And hopefully somebody out there listening want to sponsor the show so that we can keep it growing, keep it going. So once again, thank you so very much for joining us. We're going to talk about a few subjects today. Today, I'm going to make it about me. I put out the memo earlier, put out the video, the promo for the show. It's going to be all about me today. And we're going to do some football talk as well. And we're going to, a lot of people don't know a whole lot about me because I'm not a very public person. I don't put my business out there on Front Street, but you know, as far as my personal business, but I don't mind telling my story. So we're going to do that today. We're also going to talk football. We're going to go over the football scores over the past weekend. Like we had some interesting things that took place over the weekend, so we'll talk about those and the upcoming events in the world of football. You know, this football season is going by so very quickly. It seems like it just started, and we're in week 10, I think, week 10 in college ball and week 9 in pro ball or something like that. It's just speeding on along, and we got the BCS polls that's out, and I promise you, I didn't even look at what the new BCS. No, it don't come out till tomorrow. So we can talk about what the old BCS poll is showing, but the new BCS poll comes out on tomorrow night. We'll talk about that. But we are WPMM Radio under the umbrella of Change and Rising Media Group, where at WPMM we play more music. We play the best in R&B, soul, jazz, neo-soul, independent hip-hop, and old-school music. You can listen from the website at WPMMradio.com. You can also go to iTunes, tune in. You can tell Alexa to play WPMM. You can also go to Facebook Live. We're on Facebook Live. You can also stream from the app. It's a free app you can go to, stream from the app. It's just go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download the app. Once again, it is free. Also, if you have someone who is not tech savvy who wants to listen to the show, just have them, just text them WPMM Radio. Just put that in the comment section. All they have to do is click on it, hit play, and they can also enjoy the show as well. The views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts are of their own and does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to malign with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Now that we got the particulars out the way, if you're on Facebook, let's go ahead and share. Go ahead and share if you're on Facebook. We are not taking phone calls tonight as well. probably go in the main studios here soon in the near future, and we'll broadcast from the main studios. But as long as we're in studio number 2, um, don't take phone calls in studio number 2. However, if you want to join me on the show, we can definitely put the link in, and you can come in via. It's not Skype, but you can come in live on video with the show. And let's see if we can get the link put up there. I'm gonna put the link up on the screen, and soon as I learn how to work this thing, we're gonna put the we're gonna scroll it. We're gonna let it scroll across the bottom of the screen. Hey, this technology thing, I have to engineer my own shows. So, did I do that right? No, I didn't do it right. Let's see. Here we go. All right, that's good enough. Good enough. But now on the bottom of the screen, that's the link if you want to join me live here on the air. If you do join me on the air, just make sure if you have the headsets, use the headsets preferably. That way, if we get more audio, a better audio if you're on the headsets. But if not, we can still hear you. But if it's more ideal with the headsets. So. But tonight again, we're gonna make it about me. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Real quick, before I get into me, I want to talk about this fiasco going on in New York with the orange idiot up there in court, and I'm kind of irritated because the orange idiot is in court on fraud charges. He's already been adjudicated guilty of fraud. Before the trial even started. So he's guilty. Now they're just kind of going through the testimonies, if you will, to see how much this idiot is going to pay. I think it's $250 million that he has been sued for by the state of New York for fraud. And what's pissing me off about that whole situation is that they are allowing this idiot to just cut a fool up in this courtroom. And we all know if it was you or I that was doing this in a courtroom, we would be held in contempt, we'll be locked up, and we'll probably be locked up for several days until we come back before the judge and apologize for being an asshole. But they're allowing this person to just continuously act a fool in this courtroom. And that's what's pissing me off. And the judge done warned them several times. He done warned the lawyers to control their client. He done all this stuff, but he's not. He hadn't. Like I said, if it was me sitting there, I would be locked up somewhere. I would be locked up for contempt of court. I guarantee you that. So, but that's what's going on. The orange idiot took the stand today in that trial. He was there for about 4 hours. Last week, Trump Jr. and Eric Trump was on the stand. They're not supposed to have court on tomorrow. However, Wednesday, Ivanka is supposed to be on the stand, which Ivanka is not named as part of the lawsuit in this situation. So it'd be interesting to see what she had to say. But the orange idiot made a mockery of the courts today. He didn't answer questions. He kept giving political speeches. The judge kept telling him to shut up. And he just kept on doing what he wanted to do with no consequences, if you will. However, just take note that this is not a jury trial. Trump's lawyers basically screwed up, if you will, and when they were getting this whole trial set up, and they checked the box that they wanted a trial by judge and not a trial by jury. And obviously, the orange idiot blamed the Democrats for that when it was his own lawyers that filed the paperwork and did not elect for a jury trial. But the orange idiot is is blaming Joe Biden and the Democrats for the ignorance of his own lawyers. So, but anyway, that's going on. We still have ignorance and stuff going on in Pensacola, Escambia County. We're still having these shootings going on, and I just there's it's like there've been so many. It's hard for me to keep up with them and keep you posted on how many shootings exactly has occurred, and because it's as far as that make the news, it seems to be two or three a week that make the news, and that's not counting the ones that don't make the news. That's not counting the ones where shots are fired and nobody was injured. So we as a community, we have to get it together, people. We have to get it together. We have to do something better, come up with something better to kind of curb this violence that we're having, because it's not getting out of hand. It's been out of hand for quite some time, and we have to do something. And what, regardless if we think it'll work or not, doing nothing is putting ourselves in a position where we are just as culpable as the people that are doing the shootings and the violence or whatnot. Not speaking out on it is making ourselves culpable in this whole situation. So we have to, if nothing else, speak out against it. We have to speak out with our people in our community. We have to speak out against it with the young people that are around us. We have to speak out against this, against our city and county government, our state government. We have to make noise, and we have to get into the ears of the people who are committing these crimes. We have to get into the ears of the family members that are facilitating these crimes, because if you have a family, and that family know that little 14-year-old nuck is out there shooting and robbing people, and they're not saying anything about it or not trying to do anything to stop it, and then they're allowing little nuck to go out there and rob people and shoot people, and they're not putting little nuck in a situation to hold them responsible, whether it be some type of disciplinary action through the family or disciplinary action through the penal system. Everybody just turning their heads and allowing this to go on. And, we have to stop that. Unfortunately, there is penalties for doing dumb shit in our communities, and just because you don't want your family member to suffer any consequences or whatever, and they're doing it, and you keep allowing them to do it, and that's what leads to bodily harm and death, because people who do stuff like that, and normally it's going to escalate. It doesn't get better until there's a intervention, if you will. So we as a society have to do better on that aspect of things. So, but if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share, if you will. Give me a heart, thumbs up, something. Let me know you're out there. Let me know you're listening. I know I got a lot of closet listeners, and that is totally fine. Just as long as you're listening, and hopefully take heed. Right there on the screen, if you will, right there on the screen, if you are looking to join in the conversation tonight, and I know I'm about to talk about myself here in a minute, but if you want to join in the conversation, the link is on the screen, and all you have to do is copy that link into your browser, if you will, and just follow the prompts. And it will take you to the waiting room. Once you're in the waiting room, that's when I will be able to see who you are, and I can bring you into the conversation if you like. But tonight is about me. There's a lot of people that don't know a whole lot about me, people that listen to the show that don't know the inner workings of me. And 3.5 years into doing this show, I decided that I'm going to give you guys an insight about me as to what makes G click. What is his motivation? What is his purpose? Why did he go this route? Why is he doing what he's doing? And just want to kind of explain my upbringing and what led me to being here on this show, talking to you guys tonight. Um, if you listen to the show, you know I'm quite passionate about uh, getting our communities to the point to where we can live without being in fear. And one of the ways I feel that that can happen, you know, and not just live without being in fear, also just being informed on what's going around you, being educated on the ins and outs of how things work, particularly in our government, in our state government, our local government, our federal government. You know, understanding in layman's terms how that happens, and the process in which it happens, and what is necessary for things to move and shake, if you will. And that part came about because but prior to having this show, I was very active on Facebook. When Facebook came around, it gave me a platform to kind of get out there. And prior to Facebook, you had these. I go way back to dial up and all this crap, whatever. So you had a smaller platform. You couldn't get on. Dial up was terrible way to do internet. That was in the beginning of the internet, trying to dial up and get on and get in different chat rooms that are talking about stuff that's meaningful. And you'll be on for 5 minutes and they'll drop you and you have to spend 30 minutes trying to dial back in and get back on. So it was awful when we was dealing with that situation. But when Facebook came around, it gave people gave me a platform to express my thoughts and my ideas to a wide audience, if you will. And the reason why I wanted to do that because I'm one of those people who love to engage in intellectual conversation. I love. I'm one of those people who like to have conversations with people who know a whole lot more than I do. I, and even if you don't know more than I do, I can still learn something from you because not 9 times out of 10, the person I talk to has some type of knowledge about something that I may not have. So I learn from people. And I love having conversations about topics that matter. I can shoot the shit with anybody. I can stand on the corner with the fellas and talk trash, amongst the best of them, if you will. But that's that's not really my thing, if you will. I like to have conversation with substance. And prior to this show coming up, I used to try to engage in those conversations, and I used to find that a lot of people that I tried to have these conversations with were ignorant, and I'm not using that word in a derogatory fashion, context, if you will. They were ignorant of what was going on around them. They wasn't aware of certain situations. They wasn't aware of what the government was doing and what this was doing. They wasn't aware of situations abroad. They wasn't, of national security, things of that nature. And I'm not an expert. I'm far from being an expert. But I would learn. I would educate myself. I would listen to the experts. I would listen to news feeds, if you will. Listen to the experts and see what they're saying about this, that, and the other, and just educate myself as to what's going on. But in these conversations, I always find myself in a conversation with someone who did not know about just basic current events, and it became somewhat frustrating. It became somewhat frustrating, and in that frustration, it's like, where do I go to have an intellectual conversation with people who are concerned with what's going on around them, who wants to engage in conversation with some substance about issues that matter. And I would have to, sometime I would have to leave town and go to different events or whatnot to find these people to have these conversations with. And when I found them, it's like I could talk all day with these individuals, and I can listen, I can talk, I can listen, I can learn. And it was exciting, if you will. It was exciting to me to have these conversations. So So with being limited on people that I can have these type of conversations with, that's what made me want to do a show such as this to educate. The theme of the show is to inform, educate, and uplift, and that's what I want to do. The little bit of knowledge that I have, I want to pass it along to other people. I want to, give them what I have, or tell them what I know. And if I don't know it, I'll find it out. And knowledge is the key. The more we know, the better off we are. Um, you can't get far without having that knowledge. If you don't know what's going on around you, it's hard to get to where you're trying to go, because you got to know what's going ahead of you, know what you're facing in order to get to where you need to be. You can't get to a point where you're trying to make progress and you run into situations that hinder you and you don't know why that situation is hindering you, especially if you're doing anything in the political field and community, things of that nature. You have to be aware. You have to be woke, if you will. We'll use that term. Um, and that's just being aware of your surroundings and what's going on and what you have to do, which way to go, which way not to go, things of that nature. So that's what spawned this show. Um, y'all bear with me just a moment. Oh, but I have to engineer my own show. So if y'all see me if I pause, I can't do two things at one time when I'm doing this stuff. So if I pause, I'm actually doing something on one of these computers in front of me or on the soundboard. So bear with me. But yeah, the link is on the screen. If you want to join me, just copy that link into your browser and it will follow the prompts. It will bring you into the waiting room and I'll bring you in from there. But let's talk about me. Let's talk about me for a few moments here. We're not going to stay on me long because, I may not be that exciting to you. You may not want to hear about me, but I'm going to tell you anyway. But as you know, I was born and raised right here in Pensacola, Florida. Local child here. Um, Grew up on the Evanwood community over off on Young Street over there near Catholic High School. If you're wondering where that is, right between Catholic High School and Oakcrest Elementary School, smack dab in the middle is where I grew up. My early days, up until the point I was 12 years old. And even back then, growing up, I come from very, very, very humble beginnings. Very humble beginnings. That song, the Ken Spiritual saying, where they talking about I come from a whole family that didn't have much. That was me. That was us. I come from a poor family. We didn't have much, but we made do what we had. And we did what we had to do to get by. Mom did what she had to do to get by, and we got through it. But we came from very, very humble beginnings. Didn't have a whole lot of money. Uh, Hell, sometimes didn't have money. Period. We grew up in a situation where, um, from the age of 8 years old, a fatherless home. Even prior to 8 years old, I didn't have anyone, even though a so-called father was present, but there was no relationship. There was no fatherly advice. There was no connection there in regards, to having a father. So in the way I see it, I grew up without a father even until the age of 8. Why I say the age of 8? Because that's when um, my mother divorced the person who was supposed to be acting or was supposed to be being a father to me, that failed miserably. And from there it was just my mom that raised us. She was trying to raise 5 kids on her own, which meant that she had very menial type type of job. She did, she it wasn't college educated, so she didn't, unfortunately, she didn't have the high paying job. She always kept a job, but it wasn't the high paying job. She did what she could and with what she had. And That meant, trying to feed 5 kids on the money that she was making. That meant ate a lot of we had a lot of pot pies. We ate a lot of hot dogs. Spaghetti was like a specialty to have spaghetti in the house. A lot of beans, a lot of beans and cornbread. Sometimes those beans and cornbread were just beans and cornbread where we didn't have meat to go with them. But we made do. We ate what was put on the plate because we knew that um, that's all we had. We didn't have choices where we can pick and choose what we wanted to eat. And that's how it came up. But I didn't back then. I thought it was the norm. I didn't know we was poor. I thought everybody lived like we live. Even and one thing I can get kudos to my mom about us growing up poor. We there were some things that was mandatory in her household. One, you gonna clean her house. It wasn't no, it was where you make up your bed every morning. You get out the bed before you go about doing what you do. Saturday mornings, you up cleaning. We scrub floors. We took the wax off floors with razor blades, and we waxed floors and cleaned houses and baseboards and bathrooms. We did all that. We kept a clean house. Two, mom kept us clean. Even though we didn't have money, mom kept us clean. She kept us looking presentable. We weren't allowed to leave the house and not look presentable. Even to go outside and play, it's like we had to be presentable. Um, she kept our clothes clean. We didn't have a sometimes, we had a wash machine that worked half the time. We never had a dryer. And we used to hang our clothes up on the clothesline in the backyard, to dry. And hopefully, with the Florida weather, it'd be sunshine 1 minute and 2 minutes later it's downpour. And I remember many a days having to run out there uh, before the clothes that was hanging on the line to try to get them off the line before they got wet again. So, but I grew up there, went to Oak Crest Elementary School. We had to walk to school there because, again, I was right down the street from Oak Crest Elementary School. Grew up right between Cali High School and Oak Crest Elementary. Went on to middle school at Brownsville Middle School, which was right behind Oak Crest Elementary School. Walked to school there, and that's where I fell. That's where I found my passion of playing the drums, and started playing drums when I was in the 6th grade there. And one of my motivations, shout out to Big Brother. There was a set of 4 brothers prior to my mom that are my half brothers, and my oldest brother played drums, and he kind of introduced me to drums. He was playing down at the Sheraton Hotel downtown Pensacola. You don't know, some of y'all don't know what that is or where it was. The building is still there today. It's right there across, kind of catty corner from the Civic Center. I think it's like some type of housing now, and they got some businesses on the side. But it was the Sheraton Hotel. He was playing a gig down there, and he took us down there one day. He didn't take us down there during the gig. He took us there prior to the gig, and he showed me his drums. And he sat down and he played a couple songs, a couple licks on his drums or whatever. And I was like, "That's what I want to do. I want to play drums." So thanks to my brother, that's how I became a drummer, um, because of his influence, by him taking the time to take me out there and let me see what he does, basically for a living at that point. I think he was working also, but he was trying to make money playing gigs. And he finally left and went to California, and he's still playing out there to this day. And but anyway, went on and did that, and went on to high school. And in my little league, my upbringing as a kid, I played baseball. I played a year of football when I was 8 years old, and I played several years of baseball. And pretty good baseball player, pretty good football player, but baseball was my thing. Um, However, once I got to the high school level, I decided I didn't want to play baseball because they was throwing that ball a little bit too hard. That ball hurt, and I didn't want to get hit by a pitch. And so I decided not to play baseball. Kept playing my drums in high school until went to Pensacola High School until I got in. Did played drums and up until my junior year. In my senior year, I left there, left the band, and went to play football. And I went to play football for one reason. One, I wanted to play. Two, I my goal was to be the best on the team, and I think I accomplished that. Um, I played football in my high school years, and that particular year that I played, I was awarded Best Offensive Player of the Year for that year. I was also awarded Best Receiver trophy for that year, and made a little name for myself on the football field. But I didn't want to play football anymore, so I had a couple of offers to go play college football, and back then didn't have any tutelage, didn't have any guidance, uh, didn't have a father to help me out, didn't have, you know, mom was ignorant to the game of football. She was, she wasn't the most well educated woman in the world. She did the best that she could, and I just, we didn't have counselors that told me that what was the best direction to go in or what have you. Didn't have teachers that looked out for your best interest, if you will. We had some good teachers, but nobody took me under their wing to say, this college thing is really, really the way to go, even if you have to play a game of football. The football coaches, all they wanted to talk about was football. The coaches that came talk to me that recruited me, all they was talking about football, and I was tired of football. I didn't want to play football anymore. Hindsight 2020, looking back on it, I wish I had went on and played, at least got the free education out of it. So that was the benefit. But anyway, I didn't have the guidance, and that's one of my things that I hate in life, and that's why I take pride in making sure that my boys have the best advice in the world, even though they may not they may not um, follow my advice, but I make sure I give them good advice. And I came out of high school and decided to join the United States Army Reserves, and I did that. And in the meantime, at the ripe old age of 18 years old, I found myself working at a restaurant, and I worked at that restaurant thinking it was going to be a temporary thing because I was only there in my brain. I was only a temporary, and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was slacking off. I was, wasn't doing the work or whatever. And I remember my manager threatened to fire me, and that's when it kind of clicked. And I was 18 years old, and it kind of clicked that, and man, this man said he's gonna fire me because I'm slacking off. And I knew I was slacking off because I wasn't trying to do nothing. I was just trying to get a paycheck. And I made up in my mind at 18 years old, okay, I'm going to be here. If I'm going to be here, I'm going to be the best person here. And within 3 months after my manager told me that I was going to get fired, within 3 months I was in a position of management at the age of 18. And that management career started there at that restaurant, and it didn't end until about 26 years later. In that 26 years, I spent 26 years in different capacities of management, from food management to restaurant management to personnel management to industrial management. I did some of it all. And I was chasing money as a young person. I did it all. And those 26 years gave me a lot of experience. I kept saying I was going to go to college and, work it out that way. But however, with me being in a management position, I, I I was always in a position where I made a decent salary. I was never well off. I was never rich. I was always in a position where I made a decent salary to where I didn't necessarily have to go to college. And I found myself often hiring people that had college degrees. And here I was, this little black kid, grew up poor, and some days didn't have running water, didn't have lights on in the house, and now here I am hiring and managing people who have college degrees. So I at one point I just every time I thought about going to college and getting my degree or what have you, is another job will come along and they'll pay me a little bit more money or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, okay, give me another position of authority, and I rolled with it. And I did that for 26 years until I got to the point to where I was tired of management and said, okay, I need to have a decent job, but I need to do something that's, well, I'm only responsible for me. I didn't want to be in management anymore. Uh, so I did that. And, since, I kind of got out of management for a little bit, about 3 years. And then I turned around and found myself right back in management. Did that for a couple of years. And I was like, I don't want to be a manager anymore. And I tell you, when you start applying for jobs and you have certain level of experience in your resume, and you just apply for interim type positions, people look at you crazy, and then they say you're overqualified. They don't want to hire you for regular positions because they think I don't know what they think. I think you're gonna run off or whatever the case may be. But I found it difficult finding just regular employment, if you will. And I ended up landing with the state of Florida, and had been working for the state of Florida the last 7 years, and so many offers to move into management and supervision and whatever. No, I didn't want to do that anymore. I've done that 26 years. I've done that. I don't want to do it anymore. Um, Worked with one agency of the state for going on 7 years, and I recently switched over to a different agency in the state, and we're going to ride that out until retirement. So, but that's just a little background about me and how I got here. And a lot of people say, well, Jerry, I don't see you out and about. I don't see you around people that often, and I don't hang out with a lot of people. I have some friends and whatever, and some acquaintances that we hang out from time to time. Uh, but for the most part, it's just me and my wife. We go out and we do things. We have fun amongst ourselves. We hang out with we got some friends that are also married couples that we tend to hang with quite, on a regular. We get together with them, and I kind of stay to myself. I found myself in a position where I had to stay to myself because you find yourself just being used sometime, or people try to use you. And I was always one of those people where you can't use me, and I don't mind saying no. I don't mind at all saying no. And sometimes when you tell people no, they get irritated with you, and they call you uppity and bougie, and you think you're too good for this, that, and other. It's just no. I don't do what you do. I don't do the things that you do, so I can't hang with you if I don't do the things that you do. If you if you think what I'm doing is okay and not gonna get you in trouble, whatever you want to hang with me or whatever the case may be, that's cool. But I'm not gonna hang with you if you're doing something that I just don't agree with, that I just don't do, places I just don't go. I'm not gonna do that. And no, I'm not bougie. It's because I just have my own standards and I have my own morals, and um, I know what my priorities are. I know what my obligations are. I know who I need to satisfy and please first, second, and third. And if your agenda doesn't fall into the program that I follow, then I can't roll with you. I love you to death, especially family. I love you, but I don't have to. I can't be in your face every day if you're doing things that I don't agree with, and you're hanging in places that I don't hang, and I love you to death, but I got to stay in on my side of town. I got to stay in my lane and do what I do because I cannot let your lifestyle interfere with my goals. And it's not because I don't love you; it's because we are on different wavelength. We're on different pages, if you will. And I just kind of stay to myself. But I do. I wanted to do a show such as this because I wanted to come before people and just give the information that I have. I've always just wanted to give information that I have. And sometimes, I get people that come up to me and say, appreciate the information. I thank you. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I appreciate you letting us know this and another. And it's because I just want to help people. I can't, I don't want to help people by going in my pockets all the time. And that's another thing I have no problem saying no to. Often, especially family, they reach out to you and they only want to reach out to you when they want something. No, I can't just go in my pocket because I work hard for mine. I work hard for mine. And if I take away from mine to give to you, then I'm short. I'm not taking care of my responsibilities because I'm trying to take care of yours. But at the same time, if you want to sit and have a conversation and talk about your situation, and I can give you credible advice on how to get out of that situation, and that knowledge will take you farther than that $10, $20 that you're asking for, or that $100 that you're asking for. Good advice will put you in a position where you're not having to ask somebody for 10, 20, $100 to do this, that, and other. I give you that advice. Again, I'm not well off, and I can't support nobody but me and my household. And I'm not looking to support anybody else's household. I'm stressed enough trying to support mine, but I'll be willing, and I'm willing and able to give you all the advice in the world. So, but that's just me. But I'm here to inform, educate, and uplift, and that's why I do what I do because I want people to know as much or more than I do. I never want to be the smartest person in the room. My goal is never to be the smartest person in the room because I want to be able to give information at the same time. I want to be able to learn from other people as well. So, but that's my motivation. That's why I'm here. And then that's just a little bit. I just needed to get that off my chest because a lot of people don't know me and a lot of people don't understand me and they think I'm this way, that way, and the other. Not that I have to explain myself, but just to let people know where I'm coming from, especially my listening audience who don't know me personally, that may not know me personally, and just know me from being on the Truth with G. So that's it. But let's talk football. Let's talk football here. Let's go over these scores real quick. We're going to talk football now. We're going to talk football. Monday night football talk. Monday night football talk. Let's see. All right. Interesting weekend of football. Interesting weekend of football. Let's start on the college level. Um, on the college level, we had let's see, this November 4th. We're in week 10. Week 10 of the college season. Like I said, it's just flying by, flying by. We had Ohio State, which is the number one team in the nation, according to the FBS polls that came out last Tuesday. I think the new poll come out tomorrow. But Ohio State was put at number one, even over Georgia. Um, they played Rutgers. They beat Rutgers 35-16. However, in the onset of that game, in the first part of that game was kind of rough up until halftime. Ohio State was actually losing by 2 points at halftime, and they had to make a surge in the second half. They scored 14 in the third and 14 in the fourth quarter and kept the Rutgers to 7 points in the second half to come out with that win. So they struggled early. I seen the score early in the game, and it was looking bleak for them. It was looking kind of crazy, and I was wondering if they're going to be able to dig themselves out of that hole and come out victorious, if you will. But anyway, Ohio State over Rutgers 35-16. Then we had Georgia, the number one team. They played Missouri. Missouri is a pretty good team. They were 7-1 at the time. Missouri ain't nothing to shake. You can't shake a stick at Missouri, but they were 7-1. They played Georgia. Georgia got the win by 9 points, 30-21. Michigan. By the way, Georgia's number 2 team in the FBS right now. Michigan is the number 3 team. They played Purdue. They beat up on Purdue pretty good, which it was expected. But Purdue's only got a 2-7 record. 41-13 over Purdue. My Seminoles, Florida State Seminoles, they got the win over Pittsburgh. And Florida State kind of struggled. They kind of struggled, against Pittsburgh, but they didn't score anything in the first quarter, and they kind of, they scored all their points in the second and third, and didn't score in the fourth. They did not play a few of their starters in that game, so that probably was the difference in the game. Probably was a difference in the game. And but anyway, 24-7. So with Ohio State struggling against Rutgers earlier, and Florida State. They didn't really struggle. They just wasn't scoring high scoring. Florida State had their streak going of 30 points or more a game that was broken because they only scored 24. But they got the win. But it's going to be interesting to see where they rank in the new rankings, especially with Washington. Washington gave up. It was a offensive game with Washington and USC. They won 52-42 over USC, and USC was a ranked team. I think that was the only. No, Georgia played number 12. Missouri, they were ranked number 12. Michigan played an unranked team. Florida State played an unranked team. So it's going to be interesting that especially with Florida State playing a Pittsburgh team and not just beating the crap out of them. In Washington, they put up 52 points, but they gave up 42 points to another ranked team. So it'll be interesting how these polls going to come out this week. Texas over Kansas State, 33-30. Texas is now 8-1. They are still just them in Washington. No, Washington is still ranked, still undefeated, if you will. So Texas is coming out right behind Oregon. Oregon won 63-19 over Cal. But they are the one-loss teams that are up in the top. Alabama follows them. I didn't give Texas score. Texas 33-30 over Kansas State. Then we have Alabama and LSU. That game was tied up until the third quarter. I was tied in third quarter when Alabama finally pulled away to 42-28. And Nick Saban already making his pitch to get in the top 4, even though he got one loss, and there's 5 teams ahead of him that had not lost anything, and 2 teams ahead of him that has lost 1 game. But he's already talking crap, and the political side of football may let Alabama be in the top 4 again. I can't say anything about Florida State. I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, Oklahoma State 27-24 over Oklahoma. That was a big game. Both of those teams Oklahoma had 1 loss at the time. Oklahoma State had 2 losses. But number 22, Oklahoma State, pretty much upset Oklahoma 27-24. Ole Miss over at Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher lost again. Can't sound mad about Jimbo Fisher because he screwed up Florida State and ran off. But he lost to Ole Miss 38-35. Penn State over Maryland. They're a 1-loss team as well, 51-15 over Maryland. Louisville 34-3 over Virginia Tech. Clemson 31-23 over Notre Dame. Notre Dame has lost 3 games now. Clemson moves to 5-4. They are forget where they're at the ACC. But anyway, Oregon State 26-19, 26-19 over Colorado. Colorado is struggling right now. They're 4-5. Uh, they still have a chance to be bowl eligible. Keep in mind, Colorado won one game last year. They've got 4 wins so far this year, so they still got a few games to be bowl eligible. We'll see what happens there. Tennessee 59-3 over UConn. Utah 55-3 over Arizona State. Arizona 27-10 over UCLA. Uh, Kansas 28-21 over Iowa State. Tulane 13-10 over East Carolina. Army Air Force. Army beat Air Force 23-3. I think Air Force had been winning that game the last couple of years. So that's what's going on in college ball. Switching over real quick. If you're just joining me, we're talking Monday Night Football talk right now. About to go over the pro scores if I can get them to pull up here. We are in week 9 of the pro season. Look like I think the Chargers and the Jets play tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But we had the Steelers 20-16 over the Titans. We had the Chiefs 21-14 over the Fish out of Miami, the Dolphins. We had the Falcons losing to the Minnesota Vikings 31-28. The Cleveland Browns over the Cardinals 27-0. 27-0. Packers over the Rams 20-3. We have the Washington Commanders over the Patriots 20-17. Bill Belichick continued to struggle. He's not turning out to be the great coach that y'all thought he was, even though he got a couple of Super Bowls and this, that, and the other. But, great coaches can take an average team or an average players and make them champions. So he's having problems ever since his golden child left, and he had a couple good running backs leave and a couple good receivers leave, and now he don't have that he don't have those standouts up there, and now he's struggling. The Bears is continuing to lose. They are 2-7 right now. They lost to the Saints 24-17. The Seahawks got the brakes beat off of them. I don't know what happened to Geno Smith out there in Seattle, but the Ravens beat up on them 37-3. Texans 39-37 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield was looking befuddled after that game, after losing that game. But I always said Baker Mayfield is overrated, very overrated. Colts 27-13 over the Panthers. The Raiders gave the Giants a regular loss, 30-6. And then we have the Bengals 24-18 over the Bills. And them boys always find a way to lose the ball game. And they definitely found a way to lose against the Eagles last night. And if you've seen the end of that game, I didn't watch the whole game. I saw the end of it. As the Dallas Cowboy, how do you lose that game? How are you right there in position? How did you lose that game? And I'm tired of seeing this still shot of that play that I think it was a fourth down play where dude caught the ball and was short of getting in the end zone. And also the play where Dak thought he was Superman, he was going to fly, and they caught him in the air and stopped him before he got to the end zone. But this picture that's floating around about the receiver was short because the guy was already making a tackle. That was a bang bang play. You can't see that with the naked eye. If you slow it down and you go frame by frame and pick it apart, you can say, yeah, the guy touched his leg before the ball came and this, that, and other. But in the game of football, on a bang bang play like that, you're not going to get pass interference call. You're not going to get a pass interference call on a bang bang play. But all these Dallas Cowboy fans been circulating this picture, this still picture where the defender is touching the receiver's leg, and they saying he was tackled. He caught the damn ball. Yeah, all he needed was 6 inches. You can't get 6 inches as a millionaire football player. You can't get 6 inches, really. But anyway, and let me tell y'all this. I'm a closet Dallas fan. I just hate Jerry Jones. Let me take that word hate out. I dislike Jerry Jones, and I was a diehard Dallas fan for a lot of years, and I'm a closet Dallas fan, but I enjoy when they lose, just because I can't stand Jerry Jones. Two, I'm a closet Dallas Cowboy fan, but Dallas Cowboy fans tend to get on my last nerve. And the reason I say that is because Dallas Cowboy fans, regardless of how terrible they are, Dallas Cowboy fans are going to give you this spiel about Dallas Cowboys are great. Dallas Cowboys, especially preseason. Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. Oh, we got this person. We going to the Super Bowl. We gonna win this. We gonna win our division. We gonna do that. And it's like they think the Dallas Cowboys are not human and they can't lose, and they get on my nerves because they think the Dallas Cowboys can do no wrong. So, but again, I'm a closet Dallas Cowboy fan, even though I rag on them. I talk about them all the time. I talk about Dallas Cowboy fans, but I grew up as a Dallas Cowboy, and I still try to root for them, but I'm happy when they lose because I don't like Jerry Jones. I know that sounds terrible, but that's just the way it is. So, but anyway, we have come to the top of the hour. We have come to the top of the hour. It is time for me to get up out of here. As I was telling y'all last week on Monday, because I actually wasn't going to do a show tonight. I wasn't going to do a show this week, but I should be back Thursday and next week. I'll probably take off next week from doing the show because again, with changing over with my day job, if you will. My day job is going to require me to do a little bit more, and I got to get myself acclimated. And it's going to be difficult trying to produce shows and do what I got to do at work. So I'm probably going to take next week off. I should be before you on Thursday, so make sure you tune in on Thursday night. We're going to be talking about more about the issues Thursday night, and make sure you tune in. If anything change, I will let you guys know prior to, so you'll be aware. Um, and like I say, next week, I will be out next week. No live shows next week. Um, and I should be back the following week. But again, I got to get myself acclimated to my new surroundings and new. Got to learn a whole lot, whole lot. My brain is going to be overloaded, and I got to focus all my attention on that for a little while. So next week I won't be with you. And I'll make the announcement again on Thursday night as well. So, but anyway, time for me to get up out of here. Be back Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on WPMM Internet Radio. Make sure you tune in. And, in the meantime, don't do anything stupid. Be responsible, be safe. Make sure that you get back to me the next time we meet here on Thursday. So, but until then, you guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.